Hi, I'm Dean Sage.
And I'm Jack Curvin.
And this is Show Me Your Deck,
a podcast where we explore the intersections of oracles and chakras,
using our original decks to create new insights. So before our last episode, I was shuffling the deck and a card popped out and I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, she's extra talkative this morning. Woo, and I was like, okay, cool. Put it back in the deck, shuffle. We do the episode. It's great. Everything, comes out very nice message. So our last episode, we like that. The Kitchen Witch. Yay. And then I'm putting the cards back in the deck and the card pops out again along with someone else. I was like, okay, so we're gonna break tradition. Normally we start with your deck to kind of set the stage and the mood, and we do that because you have like a wide breadth of ideas, and it kind of gives a lot of variation to the show and allows us to have kind of a context that I always find very interesting, especially when it's the mandalas meeting each other. Which deck is that? Is that the projection? What?
The intersection.
The intersection. I love that deck. It's so pretty. I had such a fun time creating that with you.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I really did. Yeah,
it looks like bouquets of flowers.
Yes, it's lovely. So I always secretly hope for that deck to start us as our number one.
It's your favorite.
It's my favorite. The haiku deck came out very beautiful as well. The colors on that are gorgeous and very well. Those are the two. Those are the two of your decks that are very chromatic and very vibrant. Like we filled them with hue. We filled them with color. Your other decks are a little bit more standard oracle type fare.
Yeah, there's more white on those cards.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with my cards. So I've got two of them. We usually don't do it this way, but that's where we are. So I've got Allow the Tide to Carry You Home. The 10 of Waves.
Wait. What's the card called?
10 of Waves.
10 of Waves. Okay.
Yeah. Allow the Tide to Carry You Home. And I've got the Ace of Storms, the First Breeze. So we've got water and air. Very, synchronous elements. And so Allow the Tide to Carry You Home. So this is a happy family gathering. This is the reconnection of your emotions with the generations, with your family, with the people that you are. And then we've got the First Breeze, which corresponds with me to the First Ripple, which is the Ace of Waves or the Ace of Cups in the tarot. So the First Breeze is the Ace of Storms or the Ace of Swords. And it has that potential energy, that crackling, that sort of fresh breath of air that comes in. So, we've got connection to family, to generations, to love, to cherish. So, allow the tide, allow that action of water to carry you home, allow it to bring you back to where you live, where you belong. And then the spark of something new, the spark of a new idea, a new creation, a new adventure, even, as that's kind of our grounding point. What do you think so far?
That's a very different way to jump in.
Yeah, it's different than your decks. I didn't realize how different it would be.
It just feels like a very different lead. I like it. So let's go from there. Now what do you want to do?
Well, I mean, do you have any thoughts on the starting point? Do you have anything of that speak to you?
No, I don't want to set too much and then sometimes I get hooked on an idea and then I can't let anything grow naturally. So I'm going to let that sit and then see what springs up next to it.
Okay, let's roll some dice then.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's figure out which deck. We're going to use deck number 1. This is the sassiest of my 4 decks. Oh boy, here we go. 24, right in the middle. So let's see, 24. Okay, this is I love wood, green, right here at the heart chakra, and how it is, and what happens when it's touched by water, the third eye, blue. So this is how I love is affected by IC. Open your eyes and listen. Indulge a curiosity. Learn more about it. Make it a practical skill.
Okay. And I like how in your system, water's up high, and in my system, so we have water. We both have water, but yours is near not near. It is the third eye, and mine it's the sacral chakra. So read it again.
Open your eyes and listen. Indulge a curiosity. Learn more about it. Make it a practical skill.
Okay, so there's very, very sort of directiveness to this. Open your eyes and listen. I like that. I like the juxtaposition there. That was a nice little play of words.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So this took us into a very grounded state. So we started with kind of a more of amorphous, open wind, open water sort of idea. And now we're, coming very practical for a moment. So if we start with the idea of coming home, coming back again. Home can be a loaded word for some people. So don't take it as, family home or childhood home. Home, is where the heart is. Take it as where you are at peace and at security, where you have the foundation that you need to live safely and happily. And then hopefully, if you're listening to this, that you have that place, as there are some that don't. So, allow the tide to bring you back to that place. Allow the possibilities to arise in your mind as things open, as the first breeze sort of settles on you. And then you immediately dive into paying attention, bringing attention, bringing yourself to some sort of moment where you can learn, where you can create, where you can get like this case, a practical skill. That's an interesting turn of phrase. Tell me a little bit about what you were thinking with that. Why practical? Like why does that word fit here?
Because with this intersection, this is green with blue. This is wood with water. This isn't knowing just to know. This is knowing as it intersects with the people in your life. So indulge a curiosity, learn more about it, make it a practical skill. What I'm sensing here is when you get brought back to this safe place, that is when you should be able to be the most open. Hopefully, ideally. While you are open and paying attention, if there's something that has been, I don't know, we can just be literal here. There's something around the house, something around the home, something around wherever you are that needs your love and care. Learn about it first. What is it? Do you need to learn something about removing paint from the wall? What do you need to do? Knowledge isn't always esoteric. Use it as a tool in your life to make your surroundings better. In terms of make it a practical skill, part of what I have found is that, at least for me, I get full of information, but then don't necessarily do anything with it. And that turns into a situation where, for example, if you're writing a novel, that's when you're just researching, and then never write the story.
Or in my case, world building, never find a story.
Yes, exactly. So be curious, yes, but do something. I'm not implying that everything you learn has to now become an actionable skill. I'm saying that at some point it keeps your brain soft, it keeps you curious, it keeps you engaged with other people. Learn to do something with what you're learning and perceiving.
No, I like that. I like the idea of improving the home. There is a time for DIY, right? There is a time, being able to install a bidet. It's not that hard.
The practical skill might be learning how to have more effective conversations. Mm-hmm. That's still practical. It doesn't necessarily have to be screwdrivers and elbow grease. It could be. That could be very helpful.
Well, later today, I've got to install our automatic door lock again. We moved, and I have yet to put it up in the new house. And my spouse is getting cranky with me because.
Oh, well, handle that.
Yes, literally.
Now that you're in your safe space and wide open and paying attention, yes. Go handle that.
Yes. So I find it lovely and curious. The practical idea here, because I think you're right. Like, you can learn just to learn, but you aren't imbibing it in a way that leads to action and that leads to almost care and concern. I'm kind of struck by we were talking about this the other day on The Good Place. Chidi, did you ever watch that show?
I don't think so.
I'll have to spoil it for you. So if you don't want spoilers for The Good Place, then skip ahead like a minute or two. So The Good Place is a 4-season show about the afterlife. And the first season, the gotcha is that they are told that they're in the good place, but they have just horrible experiences and cringe and everything. And then at the end of the first season, they realize they're not in the good place.
Oh.
Yes, that they are in the bad place. And one of the characters got there. He's a moral philosopher. And he got there because he had all of this esoteric knowledge, all of this just, amazing knowledge, but he was never able to apply it. And so he wouldn't be able to choose where you go to dinner, because he was considering the moral implications of one restaurant versus another. And it had impacts upon people around him. And it impacts upon his family and his friends. It drove them away. It made it hard for them to exist with him. And that's kind of like, I feel that moment here with, you can be very knowledgeable about a lot of things, but if you're unable to do practical everyday moments, like pick a restaurant,
well, and also this is starting to sound a little bit like a reminder to trust yourself. You have this knowledge, hone it, refine it, do something with it. This is an opportunity to build confidence.
Well, the tide carrying you home envisions you are out there. You were exploring the boundaries of emotion. You were exploring the boundaries of your emotion, of your subconscious being, your id, to use the Freudian terms. And now allow that exploration to bring you home. Like, this is the ship returning home. So you've come back with things. Maybe you're laden with gifts and spices and what have you.
Of all kinds.
Yes.
And now what are you going to do with it now that you're back?
Exactly. What are you going to do with it?
Oh, okay. I was about to tell a personal story, and we're past that point in the podcast.
If it's really poignant, go for it. We can always come up with something else for the members.
Okay. Well, okay. I just realized that when I moved away from South Carolina to Los Angeles to go to graduate school, I very, very specifically had the idea that I was going to go out there, learn a bunch of stuff, come back home to South Carolina, and revolutionize the dance scene in South Carolina, which at the time was completely dead and ridiculous and just, stupid. And I wanted to go away and learn and bring it back and save the heathens from their basic bitch choreography. And this card, actually, now that I think about it, is, it reminds me of the excitement I had at the idea that I'd be able to go out and fill my ship with cargo and bring it back with gifts and spices. So that's one of the ways that I've actually experienced this card. Mm. Well, this collection of cards that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, I think I had a similar experience with college. I was going out and gathering the knowledge. I was studying the Bible and thought I was going to be a pastor and share.
How'd that go?
The more I learned, the more it changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Once I really learned what was actually written, it kind of reshaped my sense of belief and understanding. It's
These aren't the spices we're looking for.
These are the spices we're looking for. Sorry, it's a very colonial metaphor. I apologize. Colonizing issues are involved in the spice trade. But that is the image. That is the image of the ship returning home. So yeah, what are you going to do practically? What are you going to do? You have all of this now. How are you going to use it? And it's okay. I always tell people, if someone asks for college advice, get a degree that gets you a job.
Yeah.
If you really want to be an academic and go for it, that's fine. That is a very, very narrow life to live. But if that is your life, embrace it, go after it. But you're not going to find passion in college. You're going to find practicality in college. And then you, if we're lucky, can explore your passions at the same time. But you get your degree so that when you're done, when you leave that place, you can go out and find, supportive life, supportive living. And then, use that to help you with your passions. Mm-hmm. So get practical knowledge along the way. Something that you can bring with you. And it's, I do that from personal experience. I got a philosophy minor, like, why not a business minor? I thought I was, exploring all my passions and things. And, I was afraid to explore my real passions. And then I just ended up bouncing around with a couple different degree ideas until I got to
other people's passions.
Yeah. I got to biblical studies, ancient languages, and philosophy. And of course, I use those daily now. Well,
you're writing a Dungeons and Dragons story.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, it's helpful. All right, let's see what we got here. She's already been talkative, so let's see what we got here. Okay, we have the source of flames. So this is a good one. You are the ever-burning flame. You are the ever-burning flame.
And your system is
this is the third. Yeah, this is the third chakra. Yeah.
Okay, so we're still with I do on even in your system.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is so for me the source is the queen. In the tarot, it's the queen of wands in this case. But for me, this part of the tarot represents being the source of the element. So as you've completed your journey, as you've gone out, you've lived through the everyday parts of it. And then in the court cards, you've gone and learned and defended and experienced. And now what you do is you come to a realization that it seemed external to you this whole time. Everything seemed external to you. However, you are the source. Like it is within you. So it's that moment of realization that what seemed external is really internal.
In this case, it's you being the source of your own motivation to act.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
The ever-burning flame. The power to do, the power to create, to act.
And this comes right out of a card reminding you to take action with what you learn.
Exactly.
Move.
Get out the way. Move. Yeah, it very much is the card where you come to the realization that the motivation, the energy that you need has been within you the whole time. Mm-hmm. It's there. You don't need external motivation any longer. You don't need external flames. what you need to progress and to move comes from within. It is within you, and it is ever burning. It's not going to burn out. You constantly have it. It may feel low at times. It may feel like it's gone down just to embers, but it's ever burning. It's always there. It's always moving. You might just have to stoke those flames again to get them to heat the kiln, to heat the body, to heat the movement.
Yeah. So this is a reading that's asking us to come back to a point of balance and center and safety so that we can really explore accomplishment and looking with confidence at what we have learned and being curious and creative about what that knowledge is and how it can be put to practical use to improve our lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And realizing that it's all within us. So this tide carrying us home, the ships come home, we've brought our treasures with us, we are putting them to good use. And it's a reminder, it's a message that you are secure within your power and you are secure to use that power. I think that's the trickiest part about the flames and the third chakra, is that it's not just for movement, right? It's that's part of it. In a very physical sense, that's part of it, but it's also, there's a confidence about motion and action
and choice
to take action, to do things that requires you to overcome inertia. Everything likes to stay kind of unmoving. It's happy that way. It just seeks the lowest point and just sort of stays there. But you are a furnace, you are a factory, you are a cauldron, you are change, you are motion, you are action.
I'm feeling eager to roll the dice. Can I do that?
Yes, roll the dice.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Deck number 2. It's going and going and going. Deck number 2, card number 18. Okay. So that's going to be a profession deck. This is going to be a literal I profession statement. And you've got to be kidding me. Wait, I need a moment.
She's falling out is what's happening. She's falling out.
All right, so this is where fire meets water.
Oh my God.
Where I do is affected by IC. So the choices we make, the actions we take, and as how those are influenced by what we know and perceive. And that profession is I profess that I do in the world what I see in my mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There we go. There's a contemplativeness to this. There's a reminder to be practical. Practical isn't always juxtaposed, like it, just like logic and feeling aren't juxtaposed. We made them that way, but they aren't. Practical and esoteric can come together. The only way to cure cancer is to go into the weeds and the wilds and try new things and then discover connections. And then that's very practical. It doesn't look that way for 20 years.
No,
but it's very practical.
Go out there and lick some frogs and drink some weird juice. Realize that you haven't gotten a cold in 16 years and then make some connections.
It can all be practical, and it doesn't, practical just means here and now. It just means with your hands, with your creation, it's just giving breath and life to creation. it's very practical. Even the most esoteric things are very practical, because they influence the now. They influence the right now, and it's just it's a reminder not to take it all in and leave it there, right? Because it's
store it, hide it.
It's what I see in my mind's eye, I do.
Mm-hmm.
So have wonderful flights of fancy. I mean, go for it. Really dream. The tide carried you far. You were far, far away, and you have experienced so much. Just don't forget to put it back into the universe, to put it back into your home, your community, your life. Put it in places where it has somewhere to grow and become more. Get it out of your head. Allow it to become alive, and use space and time to grow and become.
Be audacious.
Yes.
Damn it.
Stop
being so scared. Do in the world what you see in your mind. We have these beautiful dreamers who then they're afraid to try and afraid to fail? No. Don't do that. You have to fail. You must fail. It is very bad luck to have perfect success on the first try, because then you go forward thinking you actually got something right. No, you happen to win a particular roll of the dice, as it were. Go out and make as many mistakes as you possibly can. Fail in front of a small audience at first, and then fail in front of a little bit bigger of an audience, and then succeed in front of a huge audience. But you got to try.
You got to find your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And you will never find it if you don't put it out there. I mean, we have that issue with this show. I think we
haven't tried yet.
Yeah.
To our in our defense, we've been generating content so that when people show up, there's something for them to find.
It's true. But there is some work ahead of us.
There always is. Out. And as I'm finding with promoting my group class, you have to figure out, you have who you think your audience is, and you create that avatar and find out that they don't care about you. And then you have to try to look for a different avatar, or, throw out all these avatars and just see what sticks on the wall. I don't know, but you have to keep trying.
Yeah. The word you had there was confidence. That came up before. Power is confidence. Power is the confidence to take action. There's very little feeling that gives you confidence other than power, and that's okay. Power is not a bad word. Power is not a evil thing. Too much power, you have to wonder what's checking your actions. That's always a key thing. Having power without checks and balances can lead to dangerous places. But you need power.
But remember, the beginning of this was talking about coming home to a safe place and being mindful and being practical and making sure what you're doing is good for the people around you. And so keep those people around. They can serve as no men. You don't need lots of yes men. You need some yes men, but you need some no men as well, so that people will tell you that what you see in your mind, maybe you don't do that part in the world.
Yeah. Well, it's creative works are children, like you've talked about, you're birthing something. It's important to know when to encourage and when to chastise, and you need both.
Need to learn some manners.
Yes, you need both. You need to have people encourage you just to be creative. Just write a word. Write down 2 words. Put 10 words. Just little. Like, you need people that will encourage you to do that, and then you need people that will be able to read a manuscript and say, "Hey, I think I know what's happening. I think I know what you're doing, but this 300 words over here, you're lost, and it's taking away from what you're doing. Come look at these. Come look at this. Play with this. Figure out what's happening here and bring it back." So you need those people too. You need people who will be critical in a positive way. And critical is another kind of power. Giving your power over to someone to have a say over you, right? So allowing someone to have the power to criticize, and again, criticize isn't a bad word.
No, no. One of the problems that I have found with criticism is that, okay, well, somebody who has said something that's not helpful, and then you respond and they say, well, you just can't take constructive criticism. My response has always been, no, you don't know how to give it.
Yeah, that's very true. There's assholism and then there's criticism. Most things are assholism.
Yes. And that's an abuse of the power that you've given them to have the ability to influence what you've made or done.
This is the beautiful part about this chakra is that it's power and shame. So guilt is you did something wrong. Shame is you are something wrong. Mm-hmm. And that is the crux of this, because when someone's trying to tell you that you're a bad writer, that's not criticism. That's just being an asshole. Mm-hmm. When someone says there's a problem with this part, there's something here, you don't always tell them what you think it is. They may ask, the artist can ask, well, what do you think? But your job in criticism is to say, hey, pay attention. Come over here. Look at this. Something is happening here.
And to remember, when you're giving the feedback, it doesn't really matter if you like something or not. You just need to be able to describe what it is. So it doesn't matter that you like or don't like a song by Lady Gaga. It matters that you can describe why or why not. And if you were going to have this conversation with her, you might say, well, I've experienced the song this way. Is that what you intended? And then as an artist, she can say yes or no and adjust or not. But you just say, I don't like that song. That does not help Lady Gaga.
No, and also the problem with criticism is that not everything's for you. And
yeah, I just said you think you found your avatar and they don't care about you.
Yes. It's not always about you. It's not always for you. We're deeply committed to Agatha all along right now. Have you watched any of this yet?
I have not. No.
Oh,
I've seen it
you need
on my screen.
to. Did you like WandaVision?
I don't know. I haven't seen that either.
Oh my good. Okay, you need to watch WandaVision. Like, you need to binge WandaVision. Okay. And you need to catch up on Agatha all along, because girl, we need to talk about this.
There's things.
There are things in this show.
There's stuff and things.
But the point is that this is not a Thunderbolts, Red Hulk moment for Marvel fans. Like, that's not what this is. And there's a lot of fanboy outrage and but it's like, it's okay for this not to be yours and for other people to enjoy it. It doesn't all belong to you. And the same thing is true of Star Wars fans. And
I have found that Star Wars fans are part of why I don't enjoy Star Wars anymore. So, I mean, fandoms can really become an obstacle to just enjoying something, because they don't enjoy it anymore. They live it. They're addicted to it. And if it's not exactly what they want, then they ruin the experience for everybody around them.
And it's troublesome, because it's okay to let something go. It's perfectly fine. Like, you have the power. We talked about practical knowledge, and you can also say, I'm not going to use that. I learned this. I experienced this. I'm not going to use it, and just move on. And that's fine too. That's totally fine. In fact, that's preferred. I hate Goodreads because it basically says everyone has to have an opinion on every book. No, you don't. No, you do not.
No, you don't.
You don't need to have an opinion on it.
This is not for you.
This is, yeah. I got a 1-star review somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but it was like, this isn't my genre. I don't really like this genre. Okay,
so here's a 1-star review.
Yeah.
Why would you leave a 1-star review? Okay, that's just okay.
Move on. Why spend the time and energy that it's you're spending so much of your power putting it towards something that you don't care about. You admitted that you don't care. It's not. It
doesn't do anything to help what's been made anyway. So if you don't like fantasy, then don't read fantasy. It reminds me of a bumper sticker from way back in the day, before gay marriage became legalized. My boyfriend at the time, it said, if you don't like gay marriage, don't have one.
Well, it's like, doctor, it hurts when I press here. Then don't press there.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. I think we crawled a little far afield there, but we're both creative people and we both experienced this.
Well, but it's part of that creative process that this spread is encouraging people to experience. You learn, you try, you iterate, you get feedback, and you accomplish in the world what you see in your mind. You take that knowledge and you do something practical with it.
And failure.
And start in a safe place so that you can fail.
I want to circle back to the failure part because I think we've talked about this before, but it's failure. Failure is so freaking important, and it's valuable. So hard, and it's so difficult, especially when you have other problems. Like I have a fear of failure because of childhood, et cetera, et cetera. It pervades. That's not a word.
Pervades.
It is a word?
Pervade, yeah.
Oh, it's a word. Yay. Okay, I thought I made up another word. Dyslexia for the not win. Yeah, pervades. It just it seeps into everything. And gosh, it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. It's perfectly fine. Messing up at work feels bad, but it's okay. You gotta do it. And being able to go, oh, I was wrong. I was totally wrong. Going back to Agatha, my friend Lisa and I, we've debated a lot of it. She kind of likes to read into things. I think like she kind of goes, she like takes one thing and then like goes really far afield with it. And she's like, well, in everything I've read, it's always this. I'm like, well, but you got to go to the text. Like I'm an exegesis, exegetical person. I'm like, you got to go to the text. You got to take the text for the text. You can't read into it. You got to take what's presented to you. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun because we come to very different conclusions, but I've have a couple bets going with her, and I will probably be wrong about some of it because that's the fun. That's the fun. So if you can find the fun in failure, even when it's your own creative work, I think that's really the power that you have, is finding the fun in the failure.
Yeah.
All right. Last card. Let's see. Oh, this one's got a little bit more energy behind it. She's finally waking up. She wants us to do 3 shows in one day. I don't think I have the energy for 3 shows in one day.
She better calm down.
Calm down. Oh my God. I'm falling out.
Okay. All right.
So this is number 2 in the major arcana, the Oracle. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
I'm not sure. Tell me.
You're not ready for this.
I'm not ready. Let me go get the cat. Comfort me.
Stop overthinking. Be quiet. Trust your intuition.
Yeah.
she just
like, excuse me.
Snatch right now. Just whoosh.
Read it again.
Stop overthinking. Be quiet. Trust your intuition. This is the only card in my deck, I think, that has punctuation.
Well, I felt it too. See? The whole spread is telling you to just buck up and take action on that dream.
I like the stop overthinking part. That I think is that's really important for kind of what we're just going through, because you can very easily overthink. I live there a lot. I feel that in my bones. You can very, very much be way too deep into things.
Well, the card right before it is specifically addressing that. I profess I do in the world what I see in my mind. If you only see in your mind, it's never gonna go anywhere. So stop overthinking. And what's the next line?
Be quiet.
Be quiet.
Be quiet.
And then
trust your intuition.
Okay, well, damn it, let's do this. Kitty is like having it. Are you cheering for us?
Cheering. Kitty magic.
Meow, so much kitty magic. He's like, magic. Shut up. He's like, be quiet.
Be quiet. I like the be quiet part. So this is the Oracle. This is the High Priestess in the tarot deck. And there's deep knowledge that comes from intuition. We are amazing difference engines. We are amazing at picking out tiny little perturbations in our environment and immediately connecting them. Now, not always the right way. This can go horribly wrong sometimes, but your gut is there because action springs from your spine. I mean, this is like you touch something hot. You don't think to yourself, oh, that's hot, I should remove my hand.
No.
Your spine says hot. Boom, hot, away, move. Something springs behind you, run, move.
This is interesting, trusting intuition, because we began from a place of gathering knowledge. And knowledge is, for the purposes of this spread, it sounds like it was the type of knowledge that is based in fact or discussion or discovery. And intuition is coming from a place of essence, but it's still knowledge, just a different kind. We started with this external learning, and now we're coming to internal trusting.
So this is throat chakra, and in my deck, this is throat chakra meets sacral chakra.
Okay.
So you have the combination of the voice of, saying, and deep feeling, deep intuition.
Feeling, yeah. And how to find balance between what you know versus what you intuit, because you can learn so much information that it can stomp out all the inspiration. Like, these are the 10 facts and this is how it must be. And then it creates a barrier to achievement instead of giving you tools to accomplish something new. So learning to balance the internal realizations and connections and how they juxtapose with quote unquote facts. And I don't want to sound like I'm not a fact denier. I know that's an issue in our culture right now. That's not what I'm talking about.
It is, yeah.
I'm talking about the idea that, I don't know, you want to do something with lighting design, and these are the facts of what makes good lighting design. And so now your idea, you can't try because it violates one of these facts about lighting design. That's what I'm talking about, where technique becomes a straitjacket instead of a springboard.
I go straight to Hellenistic art versus Roman art.
Say more.
So Hellenistic art, you have an ideal beauty, which is youth, which is, Zeus.
And athletic, yeah.
Yeah, the gymnast, the original gymnast, the nude athlete. And that perfectly balanced body, that rock climber, swimmers type body where every muscle gets used. More the rock climber. Every muscle gets used in equal proportion, and it creates a balanced tone to the body. And then you get to Roman art, which is human. It is flawed. There is not inherent beauty. It is as it is represented, as it is seen. And those two things, if you take the ideals of Hellenism, Hellenistic art, and say, well, that's it, that's art. Just like Socrates and story. That's it, that's story. That's the only way to do it. And then you realize that there's no growth to that. There's no, creative, art is constantly smashing into the rules and, standards of itself. I think sometimes possibly too far afield. I find performance art very interesting. Not performance like dance art, performance like pissing on a crucifix art. So but it is, even that is sort of trying to fight against the things that came before it and the rules that were there before it.
It's postmodernism. It's deconstructing expectations.
Yeah. So there is growth to be had in overcoming facts. I'm putting quotes on that, facts. There's times where facts aren't facts. They're just tradition.
Okay.
And I think that's where you challenge tradition, challenge this is the way we've always done it.
So use the facts to your advantage and let tradition be a guardrail that you choose to use at your own benefit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can see that. All right. So thank you if you're a member and you just heard our member segment. If you're not a member, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and get that extra little bit there where Jack and I talk about how the reading influences us personally. So that's a great little moment to connect to. We have our YouTube. It's Show Your Deck on YouTube. And it's also linked on our podcast website, Transistor. So if you're ever at the podcast website, you can usually find the link there. We have books and decks available at showyourdeck.com. So if you'd like to get a copy of our books, a copy of our deck, I should say copy of our book, copies of our decks in Jack's case.
Captain Extra.
Captain Extra. And Jack, where can we find you?
49 Haiku. So the number 4, the number 9, HAIKU. That would be 49haiku.com or on Instagram at 49haiku.
And I am Dean Sage Media, where you can find me, deansagemedia.com, at Dean Sage Media on Instagram. I'm over on Threads and a little bit on the Twitter X, the X full Twitter, at least for now. We'll see. We'll see if it survives. Who knows? But the show does have an Instagram. It's at Your Deck on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you there. And we thank you so much for listening.
Bye-bye.